Hello everyone and welcome back to Formula Trout. This is round 3 of the Premier Series Championship from the Nurburgring, the iconic Nurburgring, which is going to set the scene for the next. Sorry, I got distracted mid sentence there. But anyway, the iconic Nurburgring, one of the best Grand Prix circuits in the shadow of one of the best classic racing circuits. And we're currently watching Andreas Schilder as he heads out for his first qualifying lap. We have just over 15 minutes remaining in qualifying session from the 18-minute session as a whole. It's like a Q1 in Formula 1, except rather than the knockout system, everyone goes out and sets the absolute fastest lap they can straight away, and it decides the grid for the race. I'm joined here by Ross McFarlane, who is going to be commentating alongside me and giving me someone to bounce off when I don't know what to say. Hello Ross, how are you?
I am absolutely fine, thanks Caitlin. Just come off a fantastic race in the Challenger split. Absolutely chaotic. It was all kicking off, so hopefully we should be having another strong race here in the Master Split. Obviously, these guys are the best of the best in Assetto Corsa single-seater racing, so we should be seeing some absolute seats here today. But yeah, I'm very good, thanks Caitlin. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. I'm excited to be back. Formula Trout, one of my favourite sim racing organisations, definitely my favourite on Assetto Corsa at the time being, and always provides some really good racing, especially the Premier Series. This is really the top dog flight of racing, and it's so competitive every single time. Talking of competitive, of course, Andreas Schilder is the definition of the word, and you see him here just completing his first sector. Actually, not very quick in the first sector, so I think this may just be a banker lap from Schilder. His faster times will be coming later in the session. If I remember the Challenger split qualifying well enough, the whole time there was a mid to late 126. So if we look to be getting maybe into the 125s, the late 125s for the really quick guys, that will be about where the pole time will be for this. Do you agree with that analysis there, Ross?
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty fair analysis. I mean, obviously, these guys are, as I already said, the quickest of the quickest in Assetto Corsa single-seater racing. Typically, they're about 1-2 seconds faster than the Challenger split guys up the top. So, but it differs from track to track. So we just have to see what happens here at the DJB 100 German Grand Prix. We're just seeing the first laps kind of being set now, so we can kind of gauge where about the pace is, but obviously they're going to keep getting faster and faster as the session goes on. Hammerlink's are currently on provisional pole with a 125.9, but I'm sure that time's going to drop a lot as the session continues.
Yeah, a lot of people heading straight back into the pits there and actually not completing their first flying lap. Not entirely sure why that is, but Hammerlink. Interesting to see Hammerlink's time at 125, so that indicates that he did set a flying lap. He must have done so on the way into the pits. Ah, they're doing the Bahrain tactic, aren't they? If you remember at Bahrain, the location of the timing line meant that it was actually quicker to dive into the pits at the end of your flying lap and push right to the timing line. Rather than going around for another attempt. So it looks as if they're doing that again. That's really sneaky. It catches me off guard every time. And to be honest, I think it should probably be banned because it is rather unrealistic and would be very unsafe if it was to happen in reality. But anyway, if there's nothing in the rules to say that you can't, then you very much can. We mentioned before that this is the DJB German Grand Prix Round 3. I wish we had something else to rhyme with that, because that is very catchy. But yeah, DJB, of course, Dan Bull, and it is his 100th Formula Trout racing event. No one else has done 100 events here before, so Dan Bull is the first to do so, and that makes him our most loyal member. And and that should very much be celebrated. And you see the massive board there in the background saying hashtag DJB100. And here's to 100 more. Hopefully we get the same kind of loyalty from other members in the future, and hopefully Dan sticks around for plenty of races to come. He's currently 10th in the order after his first lap. I expect that's a banker lap, but yeah, thank you to Dan for his service. Right, Russ, who are you looking at in this qualifying session, and what do you think, or who do you think is going to be competitive for pole?
Well, hopefully David Bull. Obviously, the race named after him, so you'd like to be seeing him.
Damn it, David Bull. Really sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Dan Bull's a rapper. Oh my god, Dan Bull's a rapper. That's why I've got it confused. I'm so sorry, David.
It's okay, even a mistake. But obviously, there's a few drivers going on. Max Hammerlink. Well, he was on provisional pole. Tim Omlu's just gone quicker. Obviously, there was that 4 last time out in Austria. It was Omlu, Hammerlink, Oscar Williams, and the other driver who it was escapes him. Mustafa Moradi as well, on his debut in the Master Split. He's been another thing I've just noticed. Toby Sanford actually didn't have the right fuel load in the car in his first run and ran out of fuel on the way into the pits. So Sanford, that will be his last lap. He's had to go back to pits, and you're not allowed to do that in qualifying. If you escape back to the pits, that is it. You're not allowed to leave the pits again. It's the same in the race. So Toby Sanford, that will be his first and last lap of this qualifying session.
Mr. Kilgore Trout putting in the chat, I hope Dan Bull gets pole today. That would be quite something. I guess I'm inheriting the Murrayisms. You mentioned Murray Walker in the Challenger Split just now, and I very much grew up with his content, so very much doing it for him today. Max Hammerlink 124.882. That is stunning, and I wouldn't be surprised if he. And Jack Smith now. Let's see if Smith's in the pits. Oh, Smith is on the road. Okay, so Smith didn't do the quick pitting tactic there. I'm not sure if Hammerlink did or not on that lap, but look at that. That's over a sec. That's about 2 seconds faster than we saw in the Challenger Split. That's quite something to behold there. So Hammerlink top of the times, followed by Smith, and then we've got Schilder, Omlu, and Magzire the top 5. Bull currently rounding out the field in 18th. But yeah, those two times at the top, extremely quick there, with over 9 minutes still to go, Russ.
Yeah, it's very, very tight at the top as it stands, but still very quick times, and they're still going to continue to drop. Only 600ths of a second spacing Hammerlink and Smith at the moment, and then 3/10 down to Schilder and P3. Omni's not far back either. It's tight. We're just going to see what happens over the rest of this qualifying session. 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in the DJB 100 German Grand Prix at the Nurburgring GP. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Just on board with Mustafa Moradi from my cameraman. He's just gone fastest, I believe, in the first sector. Only just, though. So this is a very, very strong debut from Mustafa Moradi. We've got to see what he can do over the rest of his lap, Caitlin.
Just a reminder of what's happened in this championship so far. Max Hammerlink has been the only driver to stand on the podium both times. He was first at Bahrain and third at the Red Bull Ring, but that means, as Smith there gets close to his time, in fact, I think improved on his lap that time around, despite coming into the pits, as you do. But anyway, so Hammerlink at the top of the times, yes, at the top of the times and the top of the championship. 3 points ahead of Oscar. It is Oscar Williams, right? Yes, okay, I'm getting paranoid. Who's second in the championship after winning at the Red Bull Ring last time out. Who's just gone third? Mustafa Moradi. Nice lap from Moradi there. Moradi currently yet to... Oh no, scored... yes, yet score a point in this championship, and that is because... Sorry?
It's his debut this race. He's just moved up from the challenge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. My apologies. So Mustafa Moradi there, moving up from the Challenger Split and making a name for himself there. Although Jack Smith now in third position, and that's because Ermas Rees is pole. So Ermas Rees goes to pole position, a driver who led briefly at Bahrain before having a couple of issues there. But anyway, back to the championship standings. Remember, third place is Andreas Schilder, and that of course is because he finished second last time out, despite DNFing at the first round of the championship in Bahrain, and he's 1 point ahead of Magzai, who was second at Bahrain, courtesy of fastest lap. Fastest lap, of course, gains you 1 point in this series. Fast lap at the first race was given to Hermas Rees, which is why he's on 16 points rather than the 15 he would be on for third place. Splitting them is Tim Omlu, so Omlu 5th behind Magzai, and then Rees is 6th. Omlu consistent, although didn't quite manage to score a podium after his pole position last time out. Then 7th in the championship is Alex Cochran, followed by Maximilian Younger, David Halligan, and Dave Southwood, the top 10. And the first driver in the championship not to have made every round is Vladislav Mochilenko, who is not here today again, I'm afraid. But anyway, Tim Omley second in the order, so still looking very quick here today, and could be a contender for pole, judging by that lap time. So this is going to be an exciting session. Dave Brave moves up to 8th. And makes Mortiferum up to, that's not more, yes it is Mortiferum, my apologies. It's a shame we have two people with the abbreviation MOR here, because that could get very confusing with Moradi and Mortiferum. Hammerlink goes to pole, Schilder goes to 3rd, so we've had some changes at the top of the times once again, and that's how it stands. It's Hammerlink 1st, Rees 2nd, then Schilder, Omlu and Smith, as we are now over 2/3 of the way into the qualifying session. 5 minutes to go, and Hammerlink leads by over 0.2 of a second. Ross, can anyone beat him?
Well, still well, you say it is over 0.2 of a second, but now it's just over 1/10 of a second. Smith goes into P2 there with a great lap. But still 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this qualifying session. The track is still evolving. You know, there's still going to be time in it. It's a great lap from Hammerlink, but I wouldn't say he's got it just yet. We should have to wait and see, though.
Ooh, and that's Magzire spinning off what looked like a good lap. So that's bouncing off the barriers, and that is going to be a lap down the drain. Connor Peltman's there running P17, moves up to P13. Mustafa Moradi coming up the final turn, apparently just about to start a lap, although I also think he is ending one there. Looks like I'm wrong. Okay, so Moradi starts a lap. Let's use this as an opportunity to look at this Nurburgring circuit while we have the chance. There's the extremely tight turn 1. It's going to be very much a key player in the race, especially on the first lap. It's just been through the arena section, the Mercedes arena. I'm not sure if it's still known as that, but anyway, down through the turn 5, turn 6 complex. The Ford Curvette is the turn 6. And then you were asking for this corner name, I believe, in the Challenger split. This, I think, is known as the Dunlop Curvette. Certainly was at one point in time. It's interesting how some corners on the circuit are known as curves, whereas others are known as curves. But anyway, Michael Schumacher S, followed by the RTL curve, and then the Warsteiner curve. This corner actually partially designed by Michael Schumacher himself. Then down towards the Ad Van Bogen. This is a flat-out kink. Difficult with the DRS open. You've got to make sure that you don't lose control of the rear of the car, especially if you're following someone through there. And then the NGK chicane. That's an overtaking opportunity, followed by the Coca-Cola curve, which ends the lap. And the start-finish line. Start on Zielgerade. It's written as on my track map. I believe that probably means start and finish, and Moradi there not able to improve on his time with that lap, but he got relatively close. Anyway, decent lap, but what a track this is. Probably one of my favourite Grand Prix circuits. What do you think of it, Russ?
It is a fantastic circuit, it must be said. You know, it's a shame that they don't come here as often anymore. There was obviously a kind of an alternation deal between the Nurburgring and Cochran for a few years, and then the Nurburgring pulled out, and now Cochran was the sole host of the German Grand Prix in Formula 1. But it returned last year, obviously with the COVID effects of Canada, put on well, it was a chaotic race. I thought it was quite entertaining, actually. I thought it was one of the better Grand Prix of the year, but that's obviously all subjective, that's just my opinion. But it's always been one of those tracks that always provides good stuff in sim racing. It's one of when you can kind of really push the limits here, it does reward you, and it's always good fun to just kind of lap aimlessly as well. I've always found. So yeah, I do really like it. It's a great track. It really does a service to the Nurburgring name as well. Obviously, it's got its big brother to live up to, the Nordschleife, which is you know, the biggest track, the scariest permanent circuit in the world, and I think it does a good job living up to the name. I think it's a very, very great, good track, and it's good fun to drive. It's always fun to commentate and watch at.
We just took a look at the beautiful, beautiful livery, the celebration livery of David Bull's car, 100 track races emblazoned on the side, and we got that camera thanks to the beautiful impossibility of sim racing. There is how I'd put that. And what a view that was. Jack Smith here, we're watching, coming up towards the end of the lap. This may be his last chance to getting pole here, because we are very nearly. Actually, I think he will get one more chance if he has the tyres and fuel for it. But he's actually up. He's up on Hammerlink's time in that sector. So Jack Smith is going for pole here. Hammerlink just improved his time, 124.342. So goes very, very quickly there. Dave Brave up to 8th place once again. Smith through the NGK chicane. This is going to be an important sector in the course of this qualifying time. Stays out around the final corner. I'm not sure if people actually were doing that tactic that I was talking about earlier. That may have been a complete hoax. And Smith does not go first. He improves on his time, but stays second. May still get another chance to go to pole, but it's going to be close. Hammerlink is in the pits, so he thinks he's done enough and he can't go any quicker. Let's see what Almas Reese has got. He's just over 0.4 of a second behind Hammerlink, so I'm not sure if Reese will have enough for pole here. May have enough for the front row if Smith doesn't improve by enough. Dave Southwood there. Demuth Dave Brave goes up to P8, and the checkered flag is awaiting Almas Reese and awaiting everyone who is completing a lap as we speak. Jack Smith is on a lap. Whether it's going to be any quicker and whether he'll be able to complete it or not, we shall see. Oh, that didn't look particularly quick for Reese through the NGK chicane there. Did get a slight slipstream from his teammate though. Schilder goes second, and a spin for Reese into the barrier. Big crash, and that is going to be the end of his qualifying session. Schilder second. Let's look at what Smith can do. Can he get back onto the front row of the grid? He's being held up a little. I believe that might be Muradi, either that or Muradi's teammate, as he heads towards the end of this lap. Smith's last opportunity, and if it doesn't go to him, it will almost undoubtedly go to Max Hammerlink, who's been stunningly quick, and Smith comes into the pits. So I believe that Max Hammerlink there has pole position. It was Muradi. Let's look at what he can do. Across the line, no improvement. Maxi Younger won't improve. Dave Southwood, I thought he crossed the line after the checkered flag. Maybe he did, but I think that's about it. So Max Hammerlink is on pole position here by about 1.5 of a second ahead of Schilder. Not that much of a gap there. I believe the top three, any of them could have taken pole. It went the way of Hammerlink because he was just slightly cleaner on his lap. Smith is third, then it's Omlu, Muradi, Younger, Southwood, Brave, Cochran, and Halligan. Never mind, who was that improving there? Tim Omlu, mate? No, I believe someone may have left the server and then rejoined. But anyway, there you see the order on the screen. That is how they look. And yes, it was Almas Reese who left the server and then rejoined. He will be starting from 4th position, and then outside of the top 10 you've got Halligan, Magzaya, Berza, Peltmans, Mortiferum, Sanford, Skomanis, Stoyan, and Bull. Bull, unfortunately, the slowest driver on track in his 100th Formula Trout start, rounding out the grid, but great to see him here anyway. We have a 39 lap race coming up in just a couple of minutes time now. I think there's going to be a 2-minute waiting time before the start of the formation lap. So Russ, judging by that qualifying session, who do you think we should look out for? Not just in terms of the front of the field, but who do you reckon is going to be coming through?
I mean, obviously, I know you said don't talk about the front of the field, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Max Hammerlink, great time to put on pole. Andreas Schilder as well. Jack Smith standing in for Oscar Williams this week, so done a great job putting it P3. So I think he'll be one to watch out for. Coming through the field, Dave Southern and Dave Brave. and Alex Cochran as well. Those three all very quick. Mustafa Muradi's been dominant in the Challenger Series, and I think he'll be looking to impress in his first Master Split race today. But yeah, Alex Cochran as well. He's a bit further down the order than I expect. From Alex, again, another very quick driver, so we'll just have to see what can happen. Again, looking down, Connor Peltman's a bit outplaced, Christopher Bowes, Paul Magzai is in P12, Toby Sanford down in P16 as well. There's a lot of quick drivers, you know, not quite where you'd expect them to be, so I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens over the course of the race.
Here come the lights. We have 6 red lights at the front of the field, and when they go out, we will be underway for 39 laps here at the Nurburgring. 6 red lights. And it's go, go, go! Away they go at the front of the field. Max Hemmerling gets the best start. Schilder slots in behind. Using the slipstream, he might be close towards turn 1, but look at Jack Smith, the stand-in for second place in the championship, Oscar Williams. Reese takes a little look on the inside. I think he touched. I think there was a little touch, and somehow they all get through relatively cleanly. Muradi there, doing a good job on his debut in the Premier Series. Are they all clean? I believe so, because even though they touched, everyone is pointing in the right direction. And well, Younger losing a couple of places there, but yeah, I believe everyone still pointing in the right direction. Hammerlink leading from Schilder, then Smith, Reese and Muradi. Those are the top 5. And as we come towards the middle part of the first lap, they all slot into position. So you're looking at the field of 19 cars. That's 5 more than we had in the Challenger split. It's a packed grid, and a good job for all of them to make it through the first couple of sectors cleanly, Russ.
Indeed. You ever heard me have a little bit of cry of help at the first corner? I thought Reese had lost it. I thought he was going around. There was no way he saved it. Somehow he managed to get it back, and there wasn't contact. I was actually riding. There wasn't contact, just a bit of over-rotation on the rear of the car. But the angle he was at just looked like there was no saving it. Someone, oh no, he's gone around again!
Oh,
Reese
no.
round again, coming out of the chicane. Oh, and that's disaster for him. Absolute disaster, tumbling down the order. Managed to keep it going, and he's down in a P19, down at the bottom of the field. Disaster for Reese there. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. And
Yeah.
just saying he saved it, he's gone round again.
Did you see what happened there? Because I was looking away at the time.
Yeah, just I think he just clipped the curb on the exit of the last chicane, and just on the throttle a bit too early. And the combination of the two, just the rear over rotated and round he went, and he managed to save it the first corner and couldn't save it this time.
Big shame. So Reese now in last position, the last of 19 cars. Onto the second lap we go. Hammerlink has a 1 second lead, pretty much. Schilder bringing it down to a 9 second lead before 9/10 of a second lead before the Dunlop carrot, but still, that is sizable for the end of the first lap. And it's now Schilder's job to try to keep in that range until the DRS is available. Smith keeping even closer with him. There's a bit of a gap back to Muradi, so it's between the top 3 as I expected it would be, judging by their qualifying times. And or at least it's between the top 3 for now. It's a long race. Strategy will come into play later on. There is a mandatory pit stop to change tyre compound, and some drivers may even elect to stop more than once, but we shall see how that plays out. So the end of the second lap, Hammerlink half a second faster than his opponents there. Very, very quick lap for Max Hammerlink. He's already building out a lead. Smith is much closer to Schilder than Schilder is to Hammerlink, so that is going to be the real battle there, the one for second place as it stands. Mortiferum and Omlu also relatively close, and this lap, I think, or towards the end of this lap, the DRS will be enabled, and the attack can start for Jack Smith. Stoyan there ahead of Younger's really had an awful start. He's down to 15th place, so he's been dropping back and back through the pack. We saw that happening to him last time as well, I believe, but anyway. So these Formula 1 style cars, it's difficult to follow in them, but how easy or how difficult will it be for Jack Smith to keep up with and overtake Andreas Schilder if he can? What about Schilder? How can he defend? What tricks will he be able to pull out of the book? DRS is open on the back of Jack Smith's car. You see it, the gaping rear wing. He's not close enough into the NGK chicane. That's a difficult place to pull a move. You need to be right alongside your opponents there. However, turn 1, that's the real overtaking opportunity here. That's where everyone is going to be pulling those moves. And that is the next corner for Jack Smith. DRS open again. The gap was half a second, and there was a move further back. Magza has got ahead of Halligan. Smith not close enough to Schilder there. So that was the main. And Magza and Halligan side by side again down towards turn 1. So Halligan, well, Magza not yet done with that. And Magza has the inside. I believe that's going to be all that he needs to do, because there are 2 left-handers here. However, look at that, Halligan sticking with him, and there's another right-hander coming up, and that was really good defensive driving from David Halligan there. That's how you do it. And we've had a spin for Maxi Younger. Looks like he's hit the wall and he's out of the race. Younger was not confident in his car in the start of this race at all. He was dropping back and back through the order, and I'm afraid what we feared might happen has happened. He's just, well, just too nervous there.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, Maxi, very quick driver, and out of this race so early on, it's not something you want to see. And we saw a similar thing in the challenge with Gustavo Dalla Valle as well. Just a similar scenario, quick drivers just getting caught out and then finding themselves into the wall. And it's a shame, but that is sim racing, you know, you've got to roll with the punches. And I'm sure that he'll now be determined to come back stronger than ever at the next race.
Looks like Peltman's lost a few positions there, so I think he may have had a little incident there. But anyway, Hammerlink even quicker than he went before, still pulling the lead, and that means that Schilder has absolutely no support here. He is going to have to fight Hammerlink's teammate Smith all by himself. Interesting to see Smith racing here. Smith, of course, a long-time member of Vermin Racing, although although Oscar Williams, of course, was in that car for the first 2 rounds of the championship, 2nd place in the championship, meaning that had he not missed this round, he would be well in with a shot of taking the championship lead. I don't know if he's intending to come back or not. I don't even know why he's missing this round. Do you have any more idea on that, Russ, or do you not know either?
No, but I mean, obviously, sometimes real life kind of gets in the way of motorsport. Obviously, you're not paid to be a sim racing driver, or well, 99% of us aren't paid anyway. And you know, it's not one of those things where it's your job. You know, real life does get in the way. It's simply a hobby for basically everybody in it. If you'll excuse me there. So, I'm just travelling with Paul Magza, a big wobble for Dave Halligan there. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things that sometimes you just have to drop out of a race, and that's fine. I'm sure that Oscar will be back for the next race, better and faster than ever, as there's a big contact between Magza and Halligan.
Well, I don't know if there was contact, but Halligan had to go over the NGK chicane. He locked a wheel, slid sideways, and a little twitch on the exit of the final corner as well. So that's left Sandford through, and Smith, and shit. Well, what happened to Schilder there? So Schilder is down to 5th. He was 2nd, he's now 5th. It's a Vermin 1-2, and something happened to Schilder. Did you see that, Russ?
No, I didn't. I think he just made a mistake, potentially coming out the exit of the entry to the Mercedes arena. Just a bit of a slide of one wide or something. He's just let everyone through on the inside. Similar things happened to Dave Halligan as well. Let through Magzi and Sandford, both past him. So looks like that's going to be a bit of a problem zone for these drivers today. Just coming into the Mercedes arena, that first super tight and squiggly section. If you make a mistake and you're with a train of cars, it can spell the end for you here, it seems.
Let's see if Schilder can get back into the fight for the podium. Of course, Schilder did a similar thing at Bahrain, although much earlier on in the race, where he went off at the very first corner of the first lap and lost the lead that way. Alex Cochran's had an incident, has he? Yes, he has. There we go. Looks like he's looped on the exit of the that'll be the Michael Schumacher S, and he's dropped from 8th down to 12th. So some drivers having issues here, and doing a bit of lawn mowing is Alex Cochran. These cars are difficult to drive. Of course, they travel so quickly. It's difficult for your brain to keep up with what's going on, and it's quite an unnatural feeling to drive a slicks and wings single-seater. It doesn't handle like your road cars or even your touring cars or whatever. So often it's about finding the balance, and if that balance gets unsettled, the car I mean, it has a lot of grip, but that's until it doesn't. So, Cochran rejoins in 12th position. Here's Tim Omley, sandwiched between Muradi and Schilder. Muradi up to 3rd place. So, Smith and Muradi, 2nd and 3rd. Two drivers who haven't driven in either of the rounds of the championship so far. This is great news for championship leader Hammerlink. Really, really good news for him. And a very strong showing for Smith and Muradi. But yeah, quite an unexpected order in the first few laps of this race for us.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, Smith standing in for Oscar Williams potentially for the rest of the season, I'm being told by the boss over at Verminart. And also, I've been informed to mention that the Vermin drivers are actually paid a little bit, so what I just said is completely irrelevant. But yeah, so Smith potentially standing in for the rest of the season as well. Depends on what Oscar Williams happens. And Muradi as well, his first race in the Challenger split after two dominant races in the Masters split, even after two dominant races in the Challenge split. He's doing a fantastic job up in P3 at the moment, holding off Tim Omley and Schilder supremely well. It's like he's been here for years watching this. It's fantastic stuff from Mustafa Muradi at the moment.
Mag's on the move. Don't know why I said Broove there. And he's under. Well, Brave's now under attack from Sanford. Sanford on the outside and going through. There we go. Brave unsettled by being passed by Magza. We saw him have a little twitch through. Cochran's in the pits now, so he's been affected worse than we thought by that incident. Carlos Scomanis now becomes the 2nd retirement of the race. But yeah, Paul Magza there making up a move. We saw him passing Halligan not too long ago, and he's already got past Dave Brave now, who loses a place to Sanford and all of that. Dave Southwood under a lot of pressure. There's a huge gap between 5th and 6th position. That's abnormally large for this early in the race. The top 5 really getting away here. But yeah, Southwood holding off Magza for the time being. But Magza, now that he's been released from Dave Brave, is free to go after the bright yellow. Well, I've seen brighter yellow, but anyway, the yellow car of Dave Southwood up ahead. So, actually under attack a little bit there from Sanford, and Sanford getting the switchback and going through. Oh, well, going through, but Christoph Berzer there in the wall in the background. Didn't know what to look at there, but yeah, Christoph Berzer saw him rattling over the curbs and into the wall, I think. Paul Magza now with the DRS coming back at Sanford, who pulled a really unexpected switchback manoeuvre, and they're going to bang wheels on the exit of turn 1. They're just about going to make it through there. Might bang wheels again on the exit of turn 2. And they do, but it's Sanford and Brave that come together. And Sanford spins full 360. Rejoins in P11, might lose out to Cyprian Stoyan. So that all got a little bit clumsy. It looks as if Brave there maybe wasn't expecting. I mean, they were taking different lines, but he probably wasn't expecting the pass to come together like that. And come together they did, I'm afraid.
Brave was just miles too late on the brakes there. Sanford was having a great race up to that point. He's been flying through the field. Really unlucky with that. And that was who was that off at the side of the road? I think that's Reese off at the side of the road. There you go. Ernest Reese has just gone off and parked coming out of turn 7. And he has retired, actually. So Ernest Reese out of the race. That's bizarre. I'm not too sure what's happened there. But yeah, Ernest Reese out of the race. Disaster for him. But yeah, as I was saying, Sanford, yeah, he's been doing super well. I'm sure he'll get his head back down and chase back up to those positions, but that's just unlucky for him. Dave Brave couldn't do anything, just on the brakes too late there, Caitlin.
Reached the 3rd retirement. Halligan now back past Brave, so did Brave maybe give that place to him voluntarily? That would have been very good sportsmanship if he did, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case there. Berzer's off again at exactly the same point on the road, so Berzer really not liking that point, and surely he's going to have to pit for new tyres now. Yeah, he does, because that would have ruined his tyres, and this is going to ruin his race. But anyway, obviously a difficult part of the course, a difficult braking zone, and Berzer struggling. But anyway, 10 laps into this race, it's Hammerlink leading from Smith, Muradi, Omlu, Schilder, Southwood, Magza, Halligan, Brave and Sanford, the top 10. and David Bull is running in P14 on his 100th race. So that's how they stand at the end of the 10th lap. 3 retirements so far, Reese, Gomenis and Younger, and 16 cars remaining. Omlu has the DRS from Maradi, Schilder has the DRS from Omlu. This is the fight for 3rd position, a 3-way fight for 3rd position in this race. And this is one that's going to really heat up when the pit stops start to come into effect. Now Maradi, bit of a sitting duck every time he gets onto a straight, needs to get a... Oh, look at that! Oh, Omlu taking a bit of a look. Had to back out of that one, but I was going to say, Maradi a little bit of a sitting duck every time he gets onto a straight. That's why he needs to get such a good run off the final corner to defend from the insane overspeed that Omlu will get with the DRS and the slipstream and everything that comes with it. And Schilder loses it. Schilder's off the road, and that was a really weird spin. It looked like he just lost it on the brakes. Almost looked like he was going for a move on Omlu, but I don't think he was intending to. I think he just misjudged it, or something like that. And you see he's cooked the tyres. You often see drivers spinning twice rather than just once, because they try to rejoin it too eagerly, and their tyres aren't up for it. So Schilder drops down to 10th position, and needs to make sure he doesn't do that again, because his tyres will still be struggling. You see him twitching his way through the exit of the Dunlop curve. But yeah, just absolutely an absolute missile into that corner. Came in sideways, ended up backwards for us.
Yep, indeed. Obviously, these cars require a lot of precision to be driven on the limit, and when they're pushed a little bit too far, it can really bite back. Looks like Smith's just overtaken Maradi, it would appear. No, my timing screen is still glitching out. Apologies, everybody. I was having the same issue in the challenge race. Do you remember my timing board just wasn't being very friendly? Same thing's happening here. Apologies for that. But yeah, shame for Schilder. He's coming into the pits now. Presumably he'll box onto some C2s to go to the end, I would presume. But yeah, we'll just have to see what he does now.
Sounds about right. Schilder 3rd in the championship, and will likely drop down, depending, of course, on where his main rivals finish. You see the massive Mercedes AMG there, that of course not being a car in this race. Schilder onto the C2s, and he'll run it to the end on those. Bull also into the pits. And Schilder's going to come out alongside Cochran, who pitted earlier after his issues. Cochran also on the C2s, but will have a much harder task to go to the end on those. And might get Schilder, doesn't quite get Schilder, but anyway, got close. And those two can now have a little scrap amongst themselves while they're waiting for others to drop back by their pit stop strategies. Anyway, so we've had a couple of updates on some of the issues we saw drivers having earlier in the race. First of all, Oscar Williams says that Jack is racing because he was away. Doesn't say why he was away, but that's okay. And Jack was home, which is why he is racing and doing a very good job, keeping it a vermin 1-2 as it stands. Carlos Gomanis says major screen freeze out of turn 11. Front right was 45 degrees angle after it unfroze, which is why he ended up having to retire from the race. Rumpel902, not sure quite who he is, but he informs us that Christoph Berzer is having some FPS issues, and that possibly explains why he had those incidents in the NGK chicane 2 laps in a row just now. So thank you to all of those people for the updates and for keeping us informed, because we wouldn't have had a clue what was going on otherwise. An issue for Sanford, that's a shame. Sanford, we saw him making up a few positions not too long ago. He was right in that battle with Magsa, Brave, Halligan, etc. And I'm afraid he's down to P11 now, so having a little rotation by himself. Or at least I presume it was by himself. He was in that battle, but anyway. And we look back to, is that Schilder getting out of the way? You rarely see that. It's not Schilder, it's actually Christoph Berzer having another issue at the same point on the road. Hammerlink now in the pits for us.
Indeed, the leader of the race into the pits. Here we go. Pit stop window is now open. Let's see what tyres he goes on to lead the entire race so far. And he's been held on actually quite a while, but he goes on to the C2, the harder compounds that's usable. And this was the main tyre of choice for the second stint in the Challenger split. So I'm not surprised we're seeing a similar thing here in the Master split. But yeah, Hammerlink into the pits, comes out P4. But he's not too far behind Tim Omley, only 11 seconds, and everybody in front still does have to box. So we'll just have to be seeing how, if the undercut works, if he's managed to hold his position. Maybe the overcut here will actually be better. We simply don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Halligan and Sanford also into the pits on that lap. So they drop down the order as they would. But anyway, so Schilder... Oh, sorry, not Schilder. Hammerlink out in 4th position. Shows you just how much of a gap he built up. Smith now leads the race temporarily, but he still needs to stop and will likely come in the next few laps, unless he's trying to extend it and go onto the C3s. But anyway, teammates often go into similar strategies, except if they have less to or little to lose. Omlu, forcing Muradi to look up a little there. Muradi felt pressured. Omlu coming into the pits, so Omlu and Smith in as well. But Omlu put Muradi under pressure, did all he needed to, and then dived into the pit lane. Let's see what tyres they both go onto. Let's put Smith first. He stops in his box, and those will be C2s, will they, or C3s? C2s, there you go. So C2s for Smith, and I presume Omlu as well. Yes, indeed. So there we go. Muradi leads the race, but he also still needs to pit. Will likely do it this next lap. He'll be leading by about 10 seconds or so. There we go. 9 seconds is the gap. And Hammerlink comes out ahead of Smith. 5 seconds is the gap between those two. Omlu behind Stoyan and Mortiferum, who are both yet to pit themselves, and also into the pits. Southwood, Brave, Magza, and Pelkman. So the pit lane very busy these last couple of laps. Max Younger saying after the hit he just kept spinning and that's why he retired. Not sure entirely what hit he's referring to, but presumably had some kind of hit. Talking of incidents, David Halligan there just came up as having had an incident on my screen, and Cochran runs very wide there, getting out of the way of David Halligan. Not sure if he intended to or not, but anyway. Southwood running right over the grass, not entirely sure why. Rejoining the road after a big off, and Schilder having a big off in the background at the corner where he went off earlier. Goodness, it's chaos out on tracks all of a sudden. Schilder struggling to find the tarmac here. But anyway, Younger saying his hit came lap 1, turn 1, so probably something we didn't see happen. Muradi overshot his box. Muradi came into the pits and overshot his box, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time there, possibly a couple of positions. He goes onto the C2s, and Hammerlink leads the race for us.
Indeed, Max Hammerlink into the lead once again. It looks like his strategy has worked. Back into the lead. He's just got to hold his station now, drive consistently. He's got a 5.8 second gap to Smith in P2. And obviously Vermin running a 1-2 at the moment, which is great stuff for them. They've been the dominant team this year in the series. I mean, it's only the 3rd round, but they're definitely the guys to watch out for. And at the moment, Hammerlink just has to hold station. Smith, if he needs to be a rear gunner, could very well be so. And he just needs to drive home, keep those tyres happy, go off the road, and yeah, it looks like he's going to have a very boring, but that's a good boring race ahead of him.
Not sure why Southwood is in the pits again, or Schilder. Both of those should not be pitting right now, so maybe they have a penalty for speeding in the pits or something like that. But anyway, so Schilder's race goes from bad to worse. We're watching Tim Omlu. He is ahead of Muradi, and now ahead of Mortiferum as well, which confusingly puts both MORs together on the timesheets. But anyway, Tim Omlu there, making up a position in all of that. Muradi was right with him before he overshot his box, but has very much blown it, I'm afraid. Max Hammerlink sets the first lap and immediately gets beaten to it by Jack Smith, so the Vermin cars, both the quickest cars on the road right now, absolutely flying. Into the pits there comes Stoyan and Mortiferum, so they get out of the way of Omlu and Muradi, and those two had their time in the sun, but it's their turn to go on to a new set of tyres. Let's see what they go on to, having left it so late. Do they venture onto the C3s? Yes, Stoyan does, and Mortiferum doesn't. So a change or a difference in strategies there between the two of them, and their rivalry will potentially go to the end as well. But we shall see. So and Cochran up the inside of Halligan, and that's going to turn into the outside. This is where he ran wide a couple of laps ago, runs wide again. All four wheels over the line, and Halligan gets the place, so stays P9 in all of that, ahead of the Nova Finlandia car. And after the pit stages, that is one of the main battles on the track right now. Also, Brave versus Magza is still one to look out for. That's been raging for a little while. And aside from that, the other question is sorry, as I get a hiccup. But anyway, the other question will be whether Muradi can catch back up to Tim Omlu, or whether Omlu is safe in that podium position. So, Russ, your key talking points from the pit cycle there.
Well, obviously, Hammerlink's worked out perfectly for him. Him and Smith running very well in P1 and 2. To be honest, it's been a pretty well, I don't want to say boring pit cycle, but it's it's been all pretty steady away. Obviously, Muradi and Omlu still kind of around where they were. Dave Brave did overshoot his pit box a little bit, which wasn't great. Magzar and Brave are actually kind of locked in a battle at the moment, which is kind of interesting to see. But yeah, it's been a relatively quiet pit window. You usually see a lot more action coming out of it than we did. But, the race isn't over. We're only 18 laps in, as Cochran looks like he's about to go down the inside of David Halligan, and yes, he does. Oh no, maybe he doesn't. I'm just kind of riding with these two at the moment. Halligan's going to force Cochran back on. Cochran to the outside now, almost touching the pair of them, coming into the left hand. Oh, and there is contact between the pair. Cochran goes off into the grass and into the gravel. Halligan manages to keep it going. Sanford benefits up into P10. Hammerlink sets the fastest lap in the process. Oh, but Alex Cochran, super unlucky, just contact between the pair. Oh, what a shame for Alex Cochran. Oh, that's a disaster for the Nova Finlandia squad there, Caitlin.
Those two are not liking each other today, are they? Goodness me. They've touched a couple of times, and now Cochran has gone off while trying to pass Halligan. Halligan letting his teammate through, so Toby Sanford, up into P9 as we speak. But yeah, Cochran having a pretty torrid time. A couple of drivers having a torrid time here. Cochran, of course. Schilder and Berza also in the wars today. Can't stop coming together, or not coming together, but can't stop having incidents of their own. We're looking at Paul Maxire on Dave Brave. This is for 5th place, and around the outside. Does he keep it within the lines? Yes, he does. Move done and dusted for Paul Maxire. That was very well done. And Dave Brave down into 6th position as we talk. But anyway, still a good day for the I can't remember the team name, comprising Muradi and Brave, but the P.
Volpino. That's Volpino.
Volpino. My apologies. Indeed, it is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But yeah, the Volpino Racing cars only have 1 point to their name so far in the championship, with Dave Brave, and are set to massively increase that tally today. Hammerlink goes fastest again. Smith goes fastest again. Look at that, trading fastest lap times up the front of the field. The Vermin Racing cars, my goodness, Smith already over 15.5 seconds faster or ahead of anyone else in this race. And that is, well, unless something dramatic happens, Vermin has this in the bag. But yeah, looking very good for a 1-2 at this point in time. Well, Tifram on the back of Stoyan as well. We're still watching Brave and Magza to see if Brave can come back at Paul, who got past him on those softer tyres a lap ago. 20 laps out of 39 completed now, so we're just over half the way through. And the order is Hamlin leading by 6.8 seconds over Smith, who himself is 16 seconds ahead of Tim Onloo. And then it's Stefano Maradi, and then, that is his name, right? Mustafa, where did I get Stefano from? Mustafa,
I don't know.
No idea. Paul Magzar is P5, then it's Dave Brave, who has just lost the DRS from Magzar, maybe had a little twitch or something. Bit of a battle going on for 7th place, Cyprian Stoyan and then Mixa Mortiferum. And then it is Toby Sanford, Connor Pelkmans, and then Dave Halligan, Alex Cochran, Dave Southwood, yes, got that name right, jolly good. I'm getting everyone's first names wrong today, so I've got to be really, really careful what I say as I'm reading out these names. David Bull, there you go, not Dan Bull, is running P14. Then it's Christoph Berzer, and I'm afraid Andreas Schilder is back in the pits for the 3rd time of asking, so I think his day is probably done. And even if it isn't, he won't be scoring any points today, so torrid day for the championship contenders unless your name is Max Hammerlink, because Williams didn't show up. Schilder is pretty much out of the race, and the nearest, or the next best drivers in the championship are Magzar and Onloo. Magzar, well, those two drivers running decently, but still losing points to Max Hammerlink in all of this. And Vermin, of course, already very much leading the team's championship, 77 points over CRG Racing's 34, and that is going to be increased. They're probably going to be 2 or 3 times CRG's points total at the end of the day. This is quite a performance from the Vermin guys. So going well, very well for them, Russ.
Indeed, it is. Vermin are just absolutely dominating this race at the moment. Max Hamlin hasn't put a foot wrong. Jack Smith's doing a spectacular job stepping in for Oscar Williams. Honestly, they've just been phenomenal out there on track today. Obviously, we've still got quite a way to go. Only lap 22 out of 39 at the DJB 100 German Grand Prix here at the Nurburgring. But it's been great stuff to see from them, and as it stands, I can't see anybody else winning this race. But anything can happen in sim racing. It usually does. So we just got to wait and see how the race unfolds.
I like that little subtle reference there. Very, very good. Anyway, Cyprian Stoyan, P7. Mixa Mortiferum, P8. Dave Brave also has just got back, or very briefly got into DRS range again of Paul Magzar. So that battle... And Magzar, well, something's happened to him. He's spun. So Paul Magzar, who was running in 5th, is now running 8th. And I didn't see what happened there. Andreas Schilder is confirmed to be out of this race. Big shame for him. And a big shame for Paul Magzar, who appears to have lost it, Russ. Did you see that?
I just caught the end of it. I think he just overshot his braking coming into the exit of the Mercedes arena, lost the rear end, and around he went. Very easy to do them in these cars. Once the pendulum effect gets going, obviously all the weight being at the rear, it just goes round and you can't save it. And unfortunately, that's what's happened to Paul Magzar today. It catches out even the very best. And hopefully Magzar can recover. He's only down in P8. It's not the end of the world. There's still points on the table as it stands, and there's still time to climb back up the table. Toby Sanford, though, in his rear mirrors now. So hopefully he doesn't feel too much pressure and he can just push on forward.
Jack Smith just set the fastest lap of the race once again. He's just doing it for fun now because he is not in a fight with anyone. Connor Pelkman's had a little bit of a... Well, he's travelling very slowly, so something's happening here with Connor Pelkman's, I'm afraid. It looks as if he's almost coasting. He has got power going to that engine, but only just. He doesn't appear to be using it much. And Halligan and Cochran have both got past him. Real problems for Connor Pelkman's, but stays out of the pits. So whatever happened, it appears to be, well, not over, because he's still twitching a lot. I think he's still got real problems on that car. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. Back to the battle for P6 now between Stoyan and Mortiferum. And these two were a lot further down the order earlier on. They've been making their way up gradually just by not having spins and incidents, Magza may be about to get back in this fight. He, of course, has had a couple of little incidents, and most notably that spin, which happened just last lap through the Warsteiner curve and up towards the NGK chicane. DRS open on Mortifrum and notably also Magza now, so a three-way fight over 6th position, Russ.
Indeed, yeah, we've got a bit of a scuffle coming on, but while that's all happening, actually, I think we've got an interview to be had with a very early DNF in this race, Maxi Younger. I'm just going to drag him into the commentators channel so we can interview him mid-race. Maxi, are you there?
I am there. I'm
hello, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh yeah, not so well after that DNF, but yeah, just watching the race, following what's happening right now.
Indeed. So do you want to just, obviously it was a very early race exit for you. Do you want to just kind of run us through what happened? Because it's never good to DNF on a race, especially on the first few laps, so...
Ooh. Well, I had a bit of a hit T1. Someone hit me at the back. I think it was Dave Brave. And after that I had some damage on the rear and just couldn't get into a rhythm, kept spinning, and I decided rather than being a danger on track, I was last anyway, I'm gonna DNF.
That's sorry to hear that, Maxi. You know, it is tough sometimes out there. But you just gotta roll the punches. Are you now, more determined to, have a good result in the next race? Is this gonna kind of ignite a fire under you to do better?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had some pretty so-and-so races so far. I've had a decent one in Bar, the first one, then a P8 last race. So I'm gonna try and step more towards that podium. But yeah, at the moment, just watching Tim. Very happy to see him up in P3. Hopefully, he finishes there.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Maxi, for joining us. And again, condolences for your DNF.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully you have a better run next time. But thank you for joining us.
He's racing. See ya.
Thank you. And that was Maxi Younger. Unfortunately, DNF very early in the race, but such is sim racing. You've got to roll with the punches and keep going when you can. And I'm sure he'll be determined to do better next time out.
Thank you very much, Maxi, there. And as you were watching or listening to his interview, this battle has been hotting up for P6, 7 and 8. Also Southwood apparently just passed Peltmans for P11 there. Dave Halligan had an incident coming into the pits. Not sure entirely why he was coming into the pits or why he had an accident there, but whatever the case, he has now dropped well out of the top 10. He's down to P14, and that elevates Alex Cochran back into the top 10, despite having a few issues in his race so far. We're on board with Paul Magza getting this beautiful onboard shot. Nice helmet on Paul Magza as well, very simplistic. I like the use of the Irish national colours as well. And Halligan has just got back past David Bull for P13 as we speak. Magza in the slipstream, and actually, oh look at that, Sanford coming with him now. So both of these drivers chasing and catching. Ooh, and a little lock up there as Mortifrum takes a defensive line into the corner. Mortifrum obviously more concerned with holding off Magza than with attacking Stoyan. Now, lap 27 of this race, and it's a four-way scrap for P6. You rarely get four-way scraps this late in a race, and it's great to see. David Halligan there setting fastest lap of anyone. Of course, he recently made a pit stop which seemed relatively unscheduled. Still not entirely sure why he did come into the pits, but it may just be to go for fastest lap. Maybe he thought he wasn't going to score points and thought it better to go for fastest lap, because you do get a point for that, as Magza goes through on Mortifrum, who touched the grass on the exit of the Versteiner curve. So a mistake there for Mortiferum, and Magza goes through. Oh, and look at that, and Sanford coming through as well. Sanford on the inside of the final turn. It's going to be a drag race across the line. Both have the DRS, courtesy of the cars in front. Oh my goodness. May have just banged wheels a little there, down the straight. Into the braking zone. What's it from the blower car, which has just had to give way. So Sanford through into 8th position there, Russ.
Indeed, Sanford obviously was running very, very well early on, and had a bit of contact with Dave Brave. Ended up facing in the wrong direction for a brief moment, but he's fought his way back through very well. And I think he's putting on a good show for us here today. I mean, it's his second race in the Master Split. I mean, he's not, you know, setting the world on fire like Mustafa Moradi, for example, who's done his first race in the Master Split and is in P4 at the moment. But he's driven very consistently. He's driven very well, I think. And I think it's a sign of good things to come in the future from Sanford. He's obviously got quite a degree of talent, but I think he's got a lot of potential as well. So it's all about, you know, how he learns and improves as a driver over the coming races.
Now let's see, considering that Halligan just set fastest lap, whether any of the leaders, specifically the Vermin guys, or especially the Vermin guys, attempt to go any faster than that. The Vermin guys have been holding the fastest lap for the majority of this race, and you do get 1 point for it, which won't really matter much in the team's championship at this point of view, at this point in time. But you know, an extra point is always worth something, and it's far too early in the championship to be saying that it's done and dusted. So lap 28 now. Moradi recently set a personal best lap for his personal race, but it was not fast enough for fastest lap overall. I'm not sure if the leaders will go particularly quickly, because they are on... Oh, and as I say that, I was going to say that they're not going to go particularly quickly because they're on C2 tyres, and I presume that Halligan is on a much softer set, but Jack Smith just set the fastest lap of anyone, so does claim that fastest lap for the time being. Still 10 laps left in which other drivers can claim it back, but Jack Smith has it for the time being. Tim Omley just set his personal best lap of the race. Not quick enough for the best lap. And David Bull pits from P15. Oh, look at that. Look at Magza taking a look on Stoyan. And getting a better exit. Stoyan going to fed.
We should be live. Hello, everybody. Apologies for that. Stream should be back up now, I am hoping. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues. Caitlin's internet appears to have just fallen over and died. So, you've got me for the rest of the race instead. I'll be covering the Master Split as well as the Challenger Split. So that should be, hopefully, just a bit entertaining. Apologies, let me just get everything set up. I was not expecting to be streaming this race. But, times lead and when times must. The show must go on. So, right, so here we can see that Max Hammerlink is in the lead of the race as it goes.
No one can hear you, Russ.
Hello? Caitlin,
hello.
Are you back, Caitlin? Yes, I can hear you. There you are.
I am indeed. Oh, Russ, have you taken over the stream?
Yes, I have, because the stream went down, so I've taken over for you.
My God, well done, Russ. Wow. Sorry. Yeah, just lost internet connection there. My apologies. I thought the whole stream would have gone down. Really, really good work there. Anyway, yeah. So I'm back. It seems that Hamlin is still leading by 10 seconds. Russ, did I miss anything notable?
No. It's all been pretty steady away since we've been gone. Just Hammerlink continuing to lap as he did. Southern and Magza are still going at it as it stands. Actually, Magza is coming into the pit, so Southern will get that position. Lap 31 out of 39 here. And it's all seemingly settled down at the Nurburgring for the DJB German Grand Prix here, round 3 of the Formula Trout Premier Series Master Split. It's just easing into the last few laps of the race, Caleb.
Indeed, yeah, thank you so much for taking over the stream there. That's amazing work. Okay, so Hammerlink, Smith, Omlu, Maradi, and Brave is the order. Magza has just come into the pits again, so that puts actually I believe he was out of the points anyway. But yeah, actually, if you could keep commentating for a bit more, because I'm still joining into the server and I'm commentating on a bit of a delay here. Sorry, Russ.
That is absolutely fine. No worries, Caitlin. We're currently following Paul Magzar on his way back out of the pits onto the C3 compound. It's very close between Dave Halligan and Connor Peltman, and Connor's been quite quiet this race, actually. I know Dave goes for a very big dive down there, so let's ride on board with him. At the moment, very close with Connor Peltman's there. Apologies, my direction arrows still appear to be on. Apologies for that, but yeah, Dave Halligan, all at the back of Connor Peltman's. He's on the softer tyres, round the outside, pushed wide by Peltman's on the inside. I think that was a bit of a bump between the pair of them. Oh no, there's contact, and there goes Peltman's. Round, managed to save it. Fantastic stuff there from Connor Peltman's, managing to hold on to the car, drops a position, but it's been great stuff from him there. Just unfortunate the contact with Halligan. He's on older tyres, he's on harder tyres. Jack Smith sets a new fastest lap of the race, 26.7. And he's not going to have the time to chase down Hammerlink in P1. I don't think there's a 9-second gap between the two teammates. Currently running 1-2. Here is Jack Smith as we speak. But that's a fantastic lap from him indeed. And just looking through the rest of the field now, it looks pretty quiet. We've also had 4 DNFs this race. Juna Skiermanis, Reese and Schilder all retiring, unfortunately. And David Bull on his 100th anniversary down in last place. He's not having a great time, but I'm sure he's enjoying himself nonetheless. Now the driver with the most appearances in Formula Trout history, 100 race appearances to his name. Great stuff, great dedication as well, especially when it's only a 12 race calendar, so he's been hanging around a long time. So all respect to David Bull there. And looking through Halligan, it looks like he's actually about to get on the back of Alex Cochran, Caitlin.
Yeah, if you take a look quickly, I'll keep an eye on that, don't worry. But if you take a look quickly at David Bull's livery once again, he's still got that beautiful party livery, and considering we haven't really got anything going on up front, now would be a good time to take another glance at that. Halligan is now going for the move on Cochran, my apologies, but that has to...
Whoa, contact, oh no!
Guy.
Round goes Cochran.
That's about the 5th time today they've come together. Big shame for the two of them. And they are going to be having some words after this race. I don't know who is going to be saying what, or how heated those words are going to be, but they've got to say something, because drivers don't come together that often over the course of one race. Very often. That's I don't think I've seen that before. It's like Schumacher and Hill, 1995, and yeah, chaos going on between Halligan and Cochran in this race. Not good to see. Drivers should have better driving standards than that in a series this high level. But anyway, I guess that's racing.
Indeed it is, but David Halligan, I'm not quite sure what happened. It seemed that Cochran just didn't get on the throttle on the exit of the corner, and Halligan had nowhere to go. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's the 4th or 5th time they've come together this race. Cochran coming off miles worth. Halligan gets up into P10. This will be a double points finish for Oxtan. Toby Sanford's currently in P7, which is a great comeback for him after the qualifying disaster he had with his fuel load, and an early contact with I believe it was not Dave Brave. It escapes me. No, it was Dave Brave. Apologies. Trying to cast my mind back to that early in the race. But yeah, it's going to be a good result from Oxtan. But as you said, I'm sure Cochran is not going to be best pleased with that move from Halligan. I'm sure we'll be seeing some post-race discussions, shall we say. I know the stewards will most likely be getting involved. As I mentioned, Toby Sanford, his teammate, let's have a look at him, because he's currently gaining on Stoyan in P6. Sanford, it's only his second race in the Master Split, and for his third race overall. If Formula only spent one race in the Challenger Series and found himself in the Master Split, which is possibly the quickest driver change I've ever seen in any sim racing ever. And he's adapted very well, to be fair to him. You know, he's doing a good job out there today. Let's go on board with him, shall we? And he's run a very consistent race. He's not made many mistakes. Obviously, he had that contact early on with Dave Brave where he got put round in the whole qualifying side. But he's come through the film. He's impressed me with his ability behind the wheel. You know, he's not by no means the quickest driver out there, but he's shown me that he's got a lot of potential. He's very, very consistent. So that tells me that this is definitely a driver to watch for the future.
Indeed, very, very good, very consistent. Also, Max just passed Peltmans for 13th place. Peltman still appears to be struggling with whatever issue he was suffering from earlier. And Max of course, still looking unlikely to score points at this point in the race. They're both being lapped a little bit. Lap rate not going to be a huge problem today because with 15 cars on track and a circuit that's as relatively long as it's about a medium track as far as concrete circuits go. Traffic, well, it's not ideal and can still happen. It isn't going to be as big an issue as it was at, say, the Nurburgring. Someone just set fastest lap, I believe. Was that Hamilton, maybe? Unless I was just looking at completely the wrong thing. But anyway, again, fastest lap.
Sorry to interrupt you, Caitlin, because Toby Samp's just trying to go for a move down the outside of Stoyan here. They're side by side coming through the chain. Can't quite get out. Stoyan's on the C3s and Samp's on the harder C2 compound. So Sanford has the pace at the moment. He's been attacking Stoyan this entire time, and now he's within 0.3 of a second. Let's see if he can get the move done down into T1. He's going to have a look to the inside. Going to try and outbrake, and here goes Toby Sanford into P6. Great stuff from Toby Sanford. His charge through the field continues, Caitlin.
Did you notice how Stoyan locked up a wheel as soon as he saw Sanford on his inside? It's interesting how you can really suss how a driver's feeling from the body language of their car. And there, Stoyan was surprised more than anything. I'm not sure he expected Sanford to be down his inside right then and there. Meanwhile, Max has come together with Cochran again. What? I don't understand what I'm seeing here between the two of them. This is more like a wrestling match than a sim race, and I really do not understand that. Max set the fastest lap of the race the last time around, and now he has driven into the back of Cochran, not for the first time. And I'm not saying exactly whose fault I think that was. I've only seen it once, so it will be unfair to judge. But the fact that they have come together 6 or 7 times now in the same race. Some of those incidents were minor, some of them were just little love taps, but some of them were drivers simply dumping the other one into the gravel. That is just, yeah, it's what Sebastian Vettel would refer to as ping pong. I really don't understand what I'm looking at there.
Yeah, they're just, like you said, they've just been coming together all race and more contact between the pair of them. Yeah, I think there's going to be a few strong words had after
back
this
at
race.
Sanford. Sorry, Stoyan coming back at Sanford on the exit. Look at that. Around the outside. That's an ambitious place to pull up. We saw someone doing it earlier on, but anyway. Also, Birds are just getting past Peltmans for a P13. We're on the penultimate lap of the race now. The penultimate lap. So 1 to go after this one. How many times can Halligan and Cochran come together in this one final lap to go? My goodness. But yeah, Stoyan still behind Toby Sanford, and with limited opportunities to get back past him now. I think Sanford probably has the advantage, probably has the pace to stay ahead at this point. But as Homley there sets his personal best lap, still off the Vermin cars, and still off Magzar as well. Magzar, if nothing else, will have fastest lap from this race, most likely, unless someone can snatch it away from him on the last lap. Some feel-good results in this race as Max Younger Stoyan up there, Tim in P3, indeed, Smith P2 as well, standing in for Williams. And I've been impressed by Mustafa Muradi over the course of this race. On to, Hammerlink's just got a lap and a corner to go, to be precise, before the end of this race. And Stoyan and Sanford will be some of the last. And Smith's had a spin. My goodness, so Smith running second. He still has 24 seconds or so advantage over Omlu. So long as he doesn't do that again, he'll be okay. But he's had a spin, and that's gonna get his heart racing this late on in the race. Wow. Sorry, Russ.
Oh, it's fine, but yeah, just on board with the man who's been dominant all event, Hamlin. Just before we carry on talking, just my driver of the day. Just kind of think about the last few laps, and I'd say it's got to be between Mustafa Muradi and Toby Sanford, the two up-and-coming Challenge Split graduates, both finding their way into the Master Split extremely quickly after the start of their Formula Track. Whereas Muradi doing incredible in his first race, and Sanford after a disastrous qualifying calamity and a spin early on through contact, and he's just done a spectacular job to fight his way back up to sixth. We are now on board with the man who has dominated the entire event here at the DJB 100 German Grand Prix here at the Nurburgring. He comes round into the last section of the lap. Now, Max Hammerlink, he hasn't put a foot wrong all race, has he? He's just been phenomenal. Smith and Peter as well. Vermin, absolutely deserving of this 1-2. He's got one corner to go, and you know, I have nothing else to say. It's been phenomenal. From your race winner, Max Hammerlink will cross the line to take the victory here at the Nurburgring. What a performance.
That was absolutely wonderful from Max Hammerlink, and I've got to say he's my driver of the day. I know that's a bit of a boring and obvious choice, but when a driver wins by 16 seconds, you've got to give it to them. Jack Smith second, making it a Vermin 1-2, and I'm not sure we have a driver of the day so much as a team of the day. Vermin doing it once again. Tim Omler is going to be P3, so a great performance from him, and that is his first podium in the Premier Series, unless I'm very much mistaken. He crosses the line at P3. Mustafa Muradi, brilliant performance on his debut in this series. He will be at P4, nicely done. Dave Brave will be P5. We still have a little bit of a scrap between Sanford and Stoyan. If Sanford's clean for the remainder of this lap, he should have P6 relatively easily, but Stoyan has the DRS coming towards the NGK chicane, so still, well, it's not really a battle, but still putting him under a bit of pressure. Then after those two, Watifram's already finished 8th, and it's Southwood, Halligan, Magza, Cochran, Berza, Bull, and Pelkmans. Let's just watch Sanford and Stoyan, see if anything changes. It doesn't, so Sanford is 6th. And what a race that was from Max Hammerlink. Almost boring out in front. You barely heard or saw anything from the leaders, except for when Jack Smith went for that spin. Magza will score a point for fastest lap, I believe, unless someone picked him and I missed it. But yeah, amazing performance from both of the Vermin guys. Really good from Smith and Muradi on their debuts in this series. And again, congratulations on David Bull for reaching 100 races. He may not have scored any points today, but he scored points in our hearts, as cliche as that sounds. And a big shame to the retirements as well. Schilder, Rees, Germanis, and Younger. None of those 4 drivers ended up crossing the finish line, Russ.
Indeed. Now, of course, it's that time of the day that we all know and love. Time for the interviews. I think first of all we'll get race winner Max Hammerlink in, shall we? Caitlin, do you want to take the first one, then do a similar thing to last time, and I'll take the second, and so on?
Okie dokie. Right, who do you want to bring in first? Let's go. Let's start. Let's start with the race winner, Max Hammerlink. Max, do you hear us?
Yeah, hey there.
So, Max, my driver of the day, when you win by 16 seconds, that's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, this was the best case scenario, pretty much. I'm about as happy as I could be.
And it was pretty much a lights to flag victory as well. Did you feel under pressure at any point in that? Did you have any issues, or was it just on rails?
At the start, I was a bit under pressure because I was trying my absolute hardest to just immediately break the DRS from Andreas, because I know he's also just absolutely rapid. Yeah, so I just tried my absolute hardest, managed to get out of the DRS, and then I got informed that he spun, and from there I just, you know, put it down one level and just tried to control it to the end.
And thus, your championship lead extends. How are you feeling about that? And are you thinking about that crown yet?
Well, I think you always try to think about it when you go into it, but yeah, obviously this is a really good start, pretty much about as good as it could get. I did bottle it a bit in Austria, but I managed to salvage a P3 there, so yeah, it's looking really good right now.
Thank you for the interview, and good luck in your future races.
One thing, I want to thank you guys for commentating. You guys do an awesome job every 2 weeks, and it's amazing to watch the stream back. And I want to dedicate this win to Murray Walker, who unfortunately.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. Thank you very much, Max. That was wonderful.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you too. See ya.
Thank you, Max. And again, a fitting tribute to Murray Walker, who, may I just reiterate, unfortunately passed away earlier today at the age of 97. The legendary F1 commentator will be missed by all. But now we've got an interview with second place driver Jack Smith, who has finally come into the... You just tried to move over. Jack, are you there?
Hi, yeah.
Hi, mate. Well, first of all, fantastic result. How are you feeling?
Honestly, really good, yeah. It's you can't really ask for a better result for the team than that, really. A 1-2. And, yeah, probably the best comeback I could have made as well. Just went to help Max get that win today.
Well, you did exactly that, Max. Obviously, at Storm to win, you took a very commanding P2 as well. Just kind of... Obviously, you said it was a great comeback. Obviously, you've stood in for Oscar Williams today. Just how does it feel, to be immediately back on the podium?
Yeah, it's always good, but you put in the practice beforehand, and you sort of expect these results. And having raced in hybrid before, I wanted to be back where I was previously. So yeah, you always want to be near the top, and it just worked out today. Just the practice made perfect, and here we are on the podium.
Yeah, great result, and obviously a 1-2 for the team as well. Now, can we be expecting to see any more of you this season?
Hopefully, we'll see what Oscar's schedule's like, but yeah, we'll see. Obviously Oscar's this is Oscar's seat, so Oscar's got very, very similar, if not probably better than my pace. So I do really want him in the seat for the best results we can for the team. But yeah, it's been a really good race weekend for Vermin. Again, just like Max said, I just want to dedicate the podium today to Murray Walker, who unfortunately died today, which is really, really sad to hear. So yeah, just a tribute to him for this race, I think.
Well, thank you very much, Jack, for joining us. And again, great result, P2. Great job.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much for joining us.
Right, now I'm interested in this one. Alice Cochran, do you hear us?
Yes, hello.
So, what happened? Why did you and David Halligan, it was like you had magnets in both of your cars. One of you had positive, one of you had negative, and the result for both of you was very negative.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the best race. A bit of a mess, to be honest. I was in the car. I can't check the replay yet. But yeah, from my point of view, a few times we're racing, close racing, and things happen. But I think we had 4 separate collisions in that race.
I thought there were more than that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How does this affect how you race with other drivers around you in the future? Are you going to be more careful with certain guys?
Well, I felt I was faster than Halligan. Sorry, I felt I was faster than Halligan during the race. But until the end when he had the tire advantage. So I thought it should be an easy move. I committed to some move which I was pretty confident I would make it through. And then we had contact. So in the future, I don't think anything had changed that much. Just it's obviously a tricky track. It's very narrow here at the Nurburgring. So just see what I can do for Algarve the next circuit.
Fair enough. I'd like to say I'm not. I didn't mean to sound like I was blaming you with any of that. Again, I've only seen these incidents once as well. But I wanted to get your view on that because that was a very chaotic race. Thank you for talking to us, and congrats on still getting a point despite all 2 points despite all of that.
No. I finished P12.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the service ticked over and it's forgot. Sorry, my apologies.
Sorry for laughing. I didn't mean to sound rude there.
Yep.
Right, that was
okay.
that was Alex Cochran, P12. Obviously, one of the highlights of the race was his battle with David Hannigan. But now, my driver of the day, Toby Sanford, P6. A fantastic comeback after a disastrous qualifying scenario and a spin in the arena. Toby, how are you feeling about that? Toby, are you there? Toby. Oh, there you are, Toby. Hello.
Sorry, what was the question?
It was just I was just asking. You had that obviously that disastrous qualifying with the fuel miscalculation, and you had to escape back to the pits. Then you had a spin early on after contact in the Mercedes arena. You still fought your way back to P6 though. It's a great performance. How are you feeling after that?
Pretty happy with it, to be honest. Given, well, I think I'll correct you and say I was tagged twice in the arena during the race. And unfortunately dropped it on the Astro on the exit once as well. But just generally really happy with the drive, especially the second stint.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's only your second race in the master split, even should I say, of Formula Trout, and you've impressed me in both races. This one especially, P6 is a fantastic result. But obviously after that first contact, I believe it was with Dave Brave, and you just span out. You were running well at that point anyway, and you dropped down the order a bit. What was going on through your mind? Were you thinking, all right, just kind of head down, focus?
I think the way I like to see things with races, especially, is that it's never really over until the flags drop, because anything can happen. And obviously, as I'd like to think, as shown, that's the case. It's just it's just a case of head down, just get on with the task at hand, and then work with what I was given.
Yeah, well, again, it was a great performance, and a P6 as well. Fantastic result after the incident you had, and well, the only way is up. So, great result, Toby. Thank you very much for joining us as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ross. Thank you very much, Caitlin, as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, and one more interview, Caitlin.
Indeed. Connor Peltmans. Hello, Connor. Do you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello. So we saw you dropping back towards the end. What was the problem?
My wheel got tilted 45 degrees in about halfway through the race. It wasn't like suspension damage in game. My wheel just got tilted 45 degrees if you see in Premier General.
That cannot feel good. What made you continue?
Possibility getting points, maybe something happened, maybe a big crash, but no chance really.
Unlucky. How do you feel about the Algarve circuit, which is coming up in 2 weeks' time?
It's not a bad track at all. Probably not my best, but the mod is also a bit wonky, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Is it better with your wheel pointing forwards?
Definitely should be.
Jolly good. Well, hopefully you can get those issues sorted, and good luck for next time.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Connor.
Thank you. Commiserations to Connor there. Right, Russ, do you have any words before the broadcast ends?
No, I don't. Just another great day of racing here at Formula Trout. Both the Challenger and Master Split, just action-packed the whole way through. And just thank you everyone for coming along and watching. Thank you as well for Caitlin to coming along commentating. It's always a pleasure to commentate alongside you.
No problem. And I've got to say as well, thank you so much for taking over the stream when I had my internet disconnection. I honestly don't know if I'd have done the same thing in your situation. That was actually very, very good. I'm very impressed by that. But anyway, we've got to stop because we've got lumps in our throats. Thank you all for watching, and